Hello, my Fly Mickey friends, and welcome to this week's edition of Tips, Tricks and Travel News from the world of Disney. On this week's episode, it takes 45,000 tiny bricks to celebrate a Disney anniversary. The Incredibles are helping fight the global pandemic. And could the Disney bubble help set the fleet afloat again? Now, before we take a look at this week's news, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click that bell icon to stay in the know about all things Disney. First up, Walt Disney World has announced new operating hours from January the 9th next year for the Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and the Animal Kingdom, while also extending park hours for the peak holiday season dates this month. As you might recall, post-reopening park hours were initially limited and then were further cut due to low attendance, specifically talking about the last 2 hours of the day, but they were subsequently added back due to the soaring guest numbers we've seen in the last couple of months. Also helping fuel these extensions was the announcement from Walt Disney World of Christmas entertainment that requires nighttime operating hours. And so therefore the calendar has been adjusted accordingly with the new release of park hours for the holiday season. Notably, Epcot's hours have shifted to 12 p.m. until 8 p.m. and the Magic Kingdom's hours expanded to 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. The updated hours for January onwards include earlier openings and closings, adding as much as 3 hours to the day at the Magic Kingdom. You can check out the official park calendar on the Walt Disney World website right now for specific operating hours on the days you're planning to go. Over at Epcot, and it may be a little chilly outside right now, but there's a hint of spring in the air as the park prepares for the Taste of Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival. That's due to begin on the 3rd of March next year. With garden fresh cuisines, creative gardens, and those unforgettable topiaries of your favourite Disney characters, this vibrant festival combines not only the freshest flowers, but also some incredible flavours from around the world. In fact, the World Showcase will play host to the festival's 20 delectable stops, outdoor kitchens, and other food and beverage locations, offering a smorgasbord of gourmet bites and refreshing drinks throughout your day. The Taste of Epcot's International Flower and Garden Festival is running through until July the 5th, and it will require you to have a valid admission and a park reservation for the same days you're visiting. And lastly from Walt Disney World, this week we celebrated the 1-year anniversary of Disney's Riviera Resort, and to mark the occasion, Disney teamed up with Lego to build a 45-piece model replica of the hotel. The project took more than 300 hours to design and build, and weighs in at a whopping 100 pounds. Of course, Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse were among the first to admire the model's faithful details, even seeing themselves depicted outside the Topolino Terrace rooftop restaurant, when the 84-inch by 66-inch sculpture made its appearance at the Disney Riviera Resort. Now, we have been seeing Disney theme parks update their castles for some time, and it seems like Sleeping Beauty's castle at Disneyland Paris is next in line for a touch-up. This is the first time Sleeping Beauty's castle has been refurbished on this scale since the opening of the park, and it's all happening so that the icon can be decked out and ready for the park's 30th anniversary taking place in 2022. This refurbishment has been a plan of 2 years in the making, and some parts of the castle have already begun to be built off-site. So once they're completed, Disneyland Paris will then remove the old sections, most likely the towers, and then put the new parts in their places. If you are planning on visiting Disneyland Paris in 2021 and are worried about what it's going to look like, don't worry, because there are some positives. Although the castle will be wrapped in a decorative scrim, the inside of the castle will still be available for guests to enter. Plus, the decorative covering is probably some of the most realistic we've ever seen to date on any castle refurbishment, with the castle being placed in separate 3D sections that cover the work being done underneath. So it'll be harder to know what's real castle and what's a fake 3D section. Disneyland Resort in California has recently launched a new campaign that aims to slow the spread of the novel coronavirus. Disney Parks released a video onto YouTube this week that shows the characters from The Incredibles offering health tips, with a superhero family encouraging people to wear their face masks, keep 6 feet of distance, and practice proper hygiene in order to keep people safe. Dr. Pamela Himmel, Chief Medical Officer for Disney Parks Experiences and Products, said in a statement that the campaign aims to keep people safe amidst the coronavirus pandemic. The campaign emphasizes important health and safety measures, including physical distancing, face coverings, hand washing, and more, and leverages each character's personality to bring the message directly to the local communities in a dynamic way. Our message is that together we can help the community if we're all responsible and do our part. The Disneyland Resort remains closed in California and has to wait on its county, Orange County, to meet set guidelines before it can reopen. Stopping the spread of the virus is one way to make that happen sooner. Sadly for now, Disneyland fans may have to wait until 2021 for the resort to reopen. And finally, while most of the attention during the global pandemic when it comes to Disney has been on the movie studios and the theme parks, there's another huge part of the company that has been suffering just as much, if not more, and that's the Disney Cruise Line. It's still going to be a couple of months before any cruises can resume, but when they do, it's possible things could actually work out quite well. Disney introduced the concept of the Disney Bubble during the NBA season, where the company worked out a deal to have Walt Disney World host the balance of the season. And now it appears that something similar is exactly what we could get when the Disney Cruise Line starts back up next year. Guidelines released from the CDC at the end of October basically will require cruise ships to become a bubble, with COVID-19 testing required when guests and crew board the ships, and have strict protocols in place, including mask wearing and limiting shore excursions to situations where the cruise line's strict protocols can be followed. For many cruise lines, if shore excursions are severely limited due to the necessity of safety, it could be a big issue when it comes to attracting new guests again. But this is where Disney may have a leg up on the competition. If you're going on a Disney Cruise Line ship rather than a competitor, it's probably because you want the Disney part of the experience. That means that the onboard entertainment, like the Disney-themed stage shows and the character meet and greets, are probably more of an interest to the guests, meaning Disney Cruise Line passengers will likely have less of an issue if they can't leave the ship much. So therefore, this is a positive feature and not a negative downside. Beyond that, Disney also owns its own private island, Castaway Cay. Most of the Disney Cruise Line trips through the Caribbean include a stop at the island, and since the location is only visited by passengers on the DCL fleet, the company should have more freedom when it comes to the excursions there. If everybody on the island has been tested for COVID, then perhaps people won't need to be quite so strict with safety protocols, which means you could have a much more relaxing experience. As vacations go, a cruise ship might be one of the better options available due to the stricter guidelines in place, and Disney has shown with Walt Disney World that it can be successful hosting large numbers of guests without having any significant health issues. Currently, Disney Cruise Line is planning to restart itineraries of 7 days or less from March 2021. And that's it for this week's Tips, Tricks and Travel News Update. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms so you'll never miss out on the magic moments for the world of Disney. And all that's left to say is from the Fly Mickey travel team, have a magical Christmas week.